Stylianos Zaoutzes was a high Byzantine official of Armenian origin, rising to high rank under Byzantine Emperor Basil I. He then rose further to prominence under Basil's successor Emperor Leo VI the Wise, who had a close friendship and possibly an affair with Stylianos' daughter Zoe Zaoutzaina.Stylianos Zaoutzes was Leo's leading minister during the first half of his reign, and was awarded the unique title of basileopator. His standing and influence declined after 895, but in 898 he became Leo's father-in-law when the Byzantine emperor married Zoe. He died in 899, in the same year as Zoe, following an attempted coup by his relatives. The Zaoutzes clan was deprived of the considerable power it had amassed under Stylianos' tutelage. Biography, origins and early career. Zaoutzes was of Armenian descent, and was born in the Tamar of Macedonia. It has been theorized by the historian Nicholas Adams that Zaoutzes might be the son of a contemporary strategos of Macedonia named Zaoutzes, the name also of Zaoutzes' son, but the connection is ultimately impossible to prove. According to Stephen Runciman, the surname Zaoutzes derives from the Armenian words Arach Negro, reflecting Zaoutzes' particularly dark complexion. In the same vein, Zaoutzes was known among Byzantines as the Ethiopian. Whatever his exact ancestry, he shared ethnic and geographical origin with the Emperor Basil I the Macedonian, a factor that probably played an important role in his ascent to high office during the latter's reign. In late 882, the young Leo, Basil's second son and heir after the death of his elder brother Constantine in 879, was wedded to Theophano, a member of the Martiniques family. The bride was the choice of Empress Eudokia Ingarina, and did not please Leo, who instead preferred the company of Zoe Zaoutzaina, the beautiful daughter of Stylianos Zaoutzes. Whether Zoe was actually his mistress is uncertain. Leo himself strenuously denied this in later accounts. At that point, Zaoutzes held the post of Micros Heteriarchis, i.e., commander of the junior regiment of the Byzantine emperor's mercenary bodyguard, the Heteria. Leo's relations with his father Basil were always strained, and when Theophano informed him of this affair, Basil reportedly became enraged, beat Leo until he bled, and married Zoe after one Theodore Gausaniates. Furthermore, in 883, Leo was denounced his plotting against Basil and was imprisoned. It was only through the intervention of Patriarch Photios and Stylianos Zaoutzes that he was not also blinded. This affair does not seem to have hurt Zaoutzes' own standing with Basil or his career, for by the end of Basil's reign he was Protos Partharios and Megas Heteriarchis. Rise to prominence. Leo spent 3 years in prison, until released and restored to his rank in late July 886. Here too Zaoutzes played a major role, as he personally pleaded with the Byzantine emperor to secure Leo's release. By that time, Basil was ailing, and on August 12, 886, he was gravely wounded during a hunt. Zaoutzes' participation in the hunt raised suspicions of a conspiracy, but his complicity is generally rejected, as Basil survived for 9 days, during which he did not punish Zaoutzes. Upon Basil's death, Leo was crowned emperor, but Zaoutzes, who was awarded the titles of Patrikios and Magistros and the office of Logothetes to Dromou, effectively assumed control of the government, directing state policy. One tradition, based on the Vita Euthymii, holds that Basil himself appointed Zaoutzes as regent, but other sources indicate that his ascent to power was more gradual. It is indicative of his authority that most of Leo's ordinances are directed to him in person, and in 893, he succeeded in getting his protege, Antony Kaulias, elected as Patriarch of Constantinople. In the same period, Emperor Leo VI himself delivered a homily on a church built on Zaoutzes' orders in Constantinople. Zaoutzes' rise to prominence was consolidated in 891 to 893, when he was given the newly created title of basileopator. His promotion to this new and enigmatic title has been a subject of controversy, as neither the reasons for the creation of the title nor its exact functions are known. The early date of his elevation precludes a relation to the eventual rise of his daughter Zoe to the imperial throne as Leo's empress. Gratitude for Zaoutzes' support against Basil may have played a role, and a common theory is that the office implied some form of tutorship over the emperor. The office certainly confirmed Zaoutzes as the senior secular official of the Byzantine Empire. However, although Zaoutzes has traditionally been regarded as an all-powerful regent over a weak emperor, in no small part due to the account provided in the Vita Zaoutzaina, the actual relationship between the two may have been quite different. A more careful evaluation of the source material has led modern scholarship to conclude that Leo was actively involved in government, and that Zaoutzes as chief minister was loyal and obsequious to his master. An assessment of his record as the Byzantine Empire's first minister is difficult. Of the few available sources on his career, the Vita Zaoutzaina, compiled years after Zaoutzes' death, is extremely hostile, seeking to pin the responsibility for several of the reign's failures or unpopular decisions on him, and thus preserve Leo from blame. The account of the Vita is further colored by the fierce rivalry between Zaoutzes and Euphemios, then Asynchylos and Leo's spiritual father, over influence on the Byzantine emperor. Thus the Vita accuses Zaoutzes of being responsible for the sacking of the successful general Nikephoros Phocas the Elder from the army, as well as for the outbreak of hostilities with Bulgaria in 893. Allegedly, two of his proteges moved the main market for Bulgarian goods from Constantinople to Thessalonica and then proceeded to extract exorbitant fees for the Bulgarian merchants. When Leo, at the behest of Zaoutzes, rejected the merchants' protests, the Bulgarian Tsar Simeon I found a pretext to attack Byzantium. It has, however, been recently suggested by the scholar Paul Magdaleno that the transfer was in fact Leo's initiative, aiming to enrich Thessalonica, whose patron saint, St. Demetrius, he showed special favor to. Fall from favor and death. Nevertheless, all this has led to the enduring image of an ineffectual leadership in foreign and military affairs under Zaoutzes. This may explain why, despite the resumption of Leo's affair with Zoe, the relationship between Zaoutzes and the emperor became strained. Tales of an alleged plot by Zaoutzes' son to murder Leo in 894–895 indicate a rift between the two, and although Zaoutzes himself was not involved, a major quarrel between them ensued shortly after. Although they were reconciled, Zaoutzes' standing seems to have declined further thereafter, as two of his proteges, found guilty of accepting bribes, were punished by Leo. Nevertheless, in late summer 898, following the death of Theophano in December 865 or 866 and of Zoe's first husband Gausaniates in early 898, Leo at last married Zoe, raising her to Augusta. In the next year, however, both Zoe and Stylianos died. Following the deaths, Leo proposed to marry yet again, choosing Eudokia Baiana as his wife. Zaoutzes' numerous relatives, who had benefited from his patronage, were fearful of losing the positions to the new empress's relations, and conspired to overthrow Leo. Chief among them was Basil I, Zoe's nephew. The plot, however, was betrayed by the eunuch servant Samornus, and the conspiracy suppressed. The Zaoutzes' relatives were exiled or confined to monasteries, and the clan's power broken. Samornus himself was richly rewarded. He was taken into the imperial service and rapidly promoted, becoming parakoimomenos by 908, before he too fell from favor.